my hands just started shaking and the tremors appeared. And that's really how I got to the neurologist and finally figured it out. It's MS.
I was going door to door, collecting data on chronic health conditions like multiple sclerosis, which is something that the state of Pennsylvania doesn't track, and looking at the spike in those numbers.
The doctors and that I was seeing at the time were saying, well, what's going on up in your neck of the woods? Why is there so much? You know, one small community, about 200 and some people, there's 6 cases of MS, lupus, Crohn's disease, plus a whole host of cancers.
There are a lot of what they call stripping pits here, which are where the coal was mined, and there are big empty pits. And we have one that's local, it's called the Springdale Pit. The mining company wanted to start filling that, layering it with fly ash.
It's the residual waste as they burn the coal. Very fine powdery substance, almost like a talcum powder.
And then after it's filled, then they wanted to top it with sewage sludge.
They have to get rid of waste. And the easiest place to dump it is in a pit that's already there.
The pit is about 3,000 feet long, about 1,000 feet wide. Looking at the health issues, we're the first declared cancer cluster in the nation, and that's the first time ever.
There's known carcinogens in this material.
They want to just dump everything into our mine pits, that the runoff from them comes into our local streams. We already see that high level of acid. If you see most of our streams, you'll find most of them are orange.
The red color is iron oxide from the acid mine water.
The water source that comes through our town runs directly into the Big Schuylkill River, which supplies most of Philadelphia with their drinking.
Just over that hill is our city water supply, a 3 billion gallon city reservoir. You know, obviously you're scared, but you're also frustrated and angry that a few people who are looking to make a few bucks create a lot of misery for a lot of people.
The LCNN violated their permit and the dumping was stopped, but it's about to restart again. LCNN, I guess, owed a lot of taxes, but then the Department of Agriculture in Pennsylvania paid their taxes for them. So you could see a lot of the corruption that, you can see it right before your eyes, the corruption that's happening.
I have met with the governor on this issue, and there's a lot of money. This is big, big money.
People don't realize that there really is nobody looking out for them. You know, the job that our government agencies are supposed to do, which people think they're supposed to do, they don't do.
The belief here, as probably it is everywhere, is, well, if the government says that this is good, then why would we have reason to think anything different? And so we would want this. They tell us this is beneficial use.
There's probably about 15 different chemicals that are laden in the sludge, the groundwater, the surface water, that they identified, but they're not cleaning up. All they did was they leveled the pile off here and they capped it, put some grass on it, and said everything's fine now.
Secretary of DEP was in town here talking in an open forum with about 700 to 1,000 people from our community. And one of the questions I had asked there was, would you be willing to take a tablespoon or teaspoon and put that in your water glass and mix it up and drink it? Well, she said, absolutely not.
The Democracy School was held in Schuylkill Township.
Democracy School, I mean, the education that it passes off, it's priceless.
In the one-day school, I learned things I probably should have learned when I was in history class, but I don't think they taught it.
Well, yeah, in my government class, it's kind of like more of a please don't revolt against us class.
The second half of the day, we talked about what we could do as citizens of the community, and for me, more importantly, what I could do as Borough Council. So we looked at some of the ordinances. An ordinance to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens and environment of Tamaqua Borough by banning corporations from engaging in the land application of sewage sludge, by removing constitutional powers from corporations within the borough, by recognizing and enforcing the rights of residents to defend natural communities and ecosystems.
How do you give rights to something that can't use the legal system, can't hire a lawyer? You have people file lawsuits on its behalf.
We're damaging our water, we're damaging our land, we're damaging our air. How do you not give rights to the ecosystem, to our very existence?
The second ordinance which we passed, which kind of fell into place the same way, was banning corporate waste, which would be fly ash, could be construction waste. Everybody was afraid to get sued. Nobody wanted legal action brought against them.
The solicitor was against it. He said that it challenged the state law and that we would be sued. We have the right to have local control here. And if we're sued, is that the end of the world? No. Maybe we had to be sued in order to make it work.
even though state law preempts us, the federal law, our Constitution, has given us free air, clean water, clean air. That preempts the state law. But unless we, the people, stand up against what our state law is telling us, we got nowhere to go. And we could all sit quietly in our home or go out to soccer practice all we want. It's not going to make it a safer, cleaner place to live.
There was a motion made to send DEP as well as the coal company a letter letting them know that we had this ordinance and that we were going to enforce it.
Any local citizen can step up and create a civil suit in this case.
You know, no one's ever thought about the idea that this is my town and I have a say in what goes on here.
I'm permanently changed, absolutely. I learned that we were able to have rights as local government and to have local control.